First on the agenda, we had the minutes of September 17th and 24th. Has the board read the minutes?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Mayor.
Is there any changes?
No, Mayor.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of September 17th and 24th of 2018.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the... Is that better? Okay. Next on the agenda is the Chamber of Commerce. Madam President?
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and trustees. Good evening. As reported at the last board meeting, the Chamber had a very informative and successful luncheon at Pearsall Station on Thursday, September 27th. Interviewing prospective employees was clear, concise, and thought-provoking, and helped many business owners. Membership is growing. We now have 125 paid members, including the newly opened Starbucks, Dance Workshop, and Realty Advisors, located at Union and Atlantic Avenue. On October 19th, Craft Kitchen and Tap House owners Anthony Gerasi and Tom Garrett will be honored at Crest Hollow Country Club as the Small Business Persons of the Year for Lynbrook. This is a very big deal for the business community, and we're so happy that these individuals will be acknowledged. The Chamber is sponsoring a Lynbrook Restaurant Week from October 29th to November 1st. All the restaurants in Lynbrook have been notified, and many of them will be participating. It will be advertised in the newspapers, so plan to take your spouse and family members out to dinner, and afterwards enjoy a movie at Regal Cinemas. And as October moves along, we're looking forward to the Halloween Havoc and Ragamuffin Parade. Also, November is fast approaching, and with that, Santa Claus will be arriving on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. There'll be more information on this in the future. And as always, I encourage everyone to dine and shop locally and utilize the professional services that the Village of Lynbrook has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next on the agenda, October is Breast Awareness Month. October is, and I think Sherry Barish was unable to attend, and she's a 5-time cancer survivor. So we're going to push this off, have her come in on the 15th, and she'll make a presentation. But I believe, Mr. Hilary, yes, we are going to make the dome pink?
Yes, we are.
Is it already?
Could be.
Could be. All right, so it's just, it is very important for all of us, men included, to have early detection, because it has shown early detection have saved many lives. So if you would like to come back on the 15th, Jerry Barish will be here, and there's some young people that did some fundraising also for cancer awareness. But right now, we'll just make it, the whole month of October is awareness to breast cancer. Next on. No, we're up here. Following, this is the announcements that they're going to make. This we're not, okay. Well, I thought they took it off. Okay. All right. Well, I have it next on the public hearing for the Multiple Arts Culture Overlay District on Earl Avenue. Is there anybody here for that? Okay, great. We tried to get it out. There was a problem with the notification. The applicant mistakenly sent one of the required mailings to the incorrect address. So with that, that's not the proper serving. So we have to do the whole thing over again, that all the people in that 200-foot radius within the area, they have to be notified. So with this one error, we have to push it off until the next board meeting. I'm sorry if you came down for it. We tried to get it out. We had it on the Lynbrook channel. We had it on Facebook, social media. We tried to contact as many people as possible, and if you're down here for that, we will not be talking about it until the applicant comes down to present it. Yes, sir. Could you come up to the mic? Please state your name and your address.
Yes, it's Steve Barbado, Daily Place, Lynbrook.
Oh, I see.
Gentlemen, last time we were here, you said you didn't have a proposal in front of you at the time from Mr. Bartone.
He sent us the proposal.
You have it?
All right, yes, but it's not fair, he's going to present it. He gave us an idea of what he wants to do, and now it's really right. It's not fair for us to take any questions or make any comments until he actually presents it to us.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Legal counsel has said that to me.
I understand, because I know that a lot of people, as well as myself, are concerned with a lot of the things.
Sure, we want to hear about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
And that's his board. We want to hear the applicant.
Great, thank you.
Okay? Is there anybody else? Come on up, please.
Elizabeth Godet, 34 Whittier Street. My question is, are there multiple applicants, or is there just one applicant for this project?
Just one.
Just one?
Yes.
Did you, in the past, have multiple applicants, and we just don't get to hear about it?
When the applicant comes, I'll answer all your questions. Did I have multiple applicants? No. But that, I really can't get into it without the applicant being here.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the process, that's all.
Okay.
Nothing to do with him or it, just wondering.
Well, we could say the applicant's name.
I can say the applicant's name if you want. Anthony Bartone, of Bartone and Terwilliger.
Okay, but you didn't have multiple applicants for this
Not
project?
multiple, no.
And why wouldn't Lynbrook want multiple applicants for such a major project in our town?
Because he made the board a proposal, presented it, and the board liked it. So now we're going to hear it. Nothing's been approved, nothing's been accepted at this time.
Okay. So if we don't like it, then we could get other proposals from other applicants?
We could look into other things, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Jeff.
Excuse me?
Jeff.
Mr. Greenfield.
Jeff Greenfield, citizen taxpayer, NGL Realty, 100 and 112 Merrick Road in Lynbrook. I unfortunately can't be at the October 15th meeting because I have an out-of-town business commitment of long standing that I can't change. So I would wish you to permit me a few minutes to make some comments with respect to the project. I heard, unlike the other people here.
Mr. Greenfield, I cannot comment on your comment.
I'm not asking a comment. I just want to put on the record and try to educate the fears of the community, because I saw a flyer that was circulated, and it's on Facebook, I understand, and there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation on that flyer. And I just wanted to give my educated personal perspective with respect to that, and I'll follow up with the meeting with something in writing for the 15th. And some general comments with respect to same. As the chairman of the Nassau County Planning Commission, I have a lot of years of experience of hearing transit-oriented development, and this fits under the definition of transit-oriented development. I want the record to reflect tonight here that I recuse myself from any deliberations at the Nassau County Planning Commission because I thought that enough of the Lynbrook community, where I pay a lot of taxes, that I took a position as a vice president of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce had a presentation from the developer and voted unanimously to endorse the project. The Nassau County Planning Commission, for the record, also endorsed the project. But in speaking with a transit-oriented development, it fits the definition with your district and proximity to the railroad station. But I think more significantly, this project meets 3 goals for this community. We allowed the movie theater to be built, an asset to the community, no doubt about it, replacing a fire trap of a previous movie theater, but without the proper parking. This developer is proposing to come in and build a parking garage with a value of $10 million. That's worth a lot. A member to the community without any taxpayer expense for the parking garage. So a member of our chamber has been advocating for a parking garage for years. And I told them that in this 2% tax cap era, that no parking garage could be built at taxpayer expense without a private developer. So here we have an angel comes in here, and he wants to build a parking garage in close proximity between the movie theater and the railroad. In return, he wants to take a parking lot and put that lot, which isn't on the tax rolls, and put it on the tax rolls, albeit he wants a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes. And so one of the mistakes in the flyer is it says that it's going to cost the taxpayers of the community money, and it won't be done, they won't pay taxes to the community. This parking lot is paying no taxes presently, so whatever taxes he pays, the school district, the village, all the taxing entities, we're ahead of the game. I think that's very significant in the deliberations, and I applaud you, Mr. Mayor, and the village board for negotiating and putting this proposal forward for consideration of the community. And I think we need to have a fair and comprehensive consideration of the proposal without these misinformation campaigns. Another thing it does, it brings people into the central business district. One of the goals of the TOD, transit-oriented district, is to bring people down into the downtowns so they can shop downtown, go to the restaurants downtown, and walk to the train station. We see, and I see from my perspective in Nassau County, we see it happening throughout the county. Rockville Center, Avalon is a big hit. In Great Neck, in Island Park, they're doing it now, all over the county. One of the significant advances with the TOD is it brings people downtown so that we have a vibrant downtown. It supports the shops downtown, supports the restaurants downtown, and contributes to the economy of the community. I think that's a very good plus for Lynbrook. There is also a documented shortage of rental apartments in Nassau County. The condo and co-op market is non-existent anymore because the real estate builders cannot get bank loans for condo and co-ops because they're afraid if they build it and don't sell it and go broke, the banks will get stuck. They are willing to do loans for rentals because they know the rentals will be rented. You have in Mineola, Lazarian built at 1 3rd Street, 284 units. It was rented up in 60 days. So he's building another 300 units in Mineola, again, TOD, transit-oriented development by the railroad station. All these projects, though, are dependent upon IDA loans, whether it's the Nassau County IDA or the Town of Hempstead IDA, and a pilot payment in lieu of taxes. This is the economic model that's been successful elsewhere, and I trust and hope that with a little bit of education and a little bit of forward thinking from the community, it will be a success here in Lynbrook also. Lynbrook needs this to sustain into the future. It is the wave of the future. It enables our young people to stay in the community. We need young people to make the community vibrant. We need young people to be volunteer firemen. And we need young people to contribute to the community that they grew up in, live there, and eventually buy a home here. Then also, a lot of these rentals go to empty nesters that want to stay in the community they grew up in and worship in the houses of worship that they're comfortable with. And they could sell their homes to young people again and stay in the community and allow young people to migrate from a rental situation to home ownership. This is all positive. It's not like any other housing we have presently in the community. There is concerns with respect to traffic that could be worked on, concerns with respect the size of the units. I trust in the proposal that the size of the units will be such that there will be a minimal impact upon the school district. Avalon in Rockville Center, when it was first proposed, elements of the community started a scare campaign. First, they accused it of being Section 8 housing. Well, Section 8 housing doesn't exist anymore. The Obama administration realized it was a failure and killed it. Whatever vouchers are out there are usable, but there's no new Section 8 housing. So that's the first myth that has to be declared null and void. The other thing with respect to it, they said there'll be hundreds of kids in the school district. They built approximately 300 units in Rockville Center between the three separate buildings. I think there's no more than 8 to 12 kids in the school district. The people that are occupying those rental units in Rockville Center and Avalon do not have school-age kids. They're young people before they started a family, or older people, or people that want to stay in the area and sell their house and possibly have a second residence somewhere else. That's what is renting those apartments. That also happens. So I think, in closing, I want the community to keep an open mind, to listen, to learn, and try to embrace what is happening in all the other successful downtowns around us, whether it's Rockville Center, Mineola, Great Neck, now Island Park. Valley Stream has some. Valley Stream is not necessarily the best model, but I think there's other communities we can emulate. But the most important thing is, and I can tell you from my firsthand knowledge, the mayor and the board picked an applicant that has a very good track record in Farmingdale. I forgot to mention Farmingdale. The mayor of Farmingdale, who I know personally, he would name his next child or grandchild after Anthony Bartone. He's had such a good record with Mr. Bartone in Farmingdale. I've seen the projects in Farmingdale. I've approved the projects in Farmingdale. And the downtown Farmingdale, with his projects and others down there, is a much more successful and vibrant downtown than it was 10 years ago. So all I ask is of the community, I understand your concerns. I understand fear is a bad instinct and natural, but keep an open mind. Listen to the proposal, because this is a man that has a good track record and a good vision for all of us in Lynbrook, whether we're residential or commercial taxpayers. And again, I'm sorry I can't be here on the 15th, but I'll watch the meeting afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greenfield. Could you just wait a minute, please?
Sure.
Everyone's more than welcome to speak, but let me get you up there, all right? Let's keep it nice and calm. You're more than welcome to take the podium and make a statement. How many people would like to say something at this point? Okay. Because we normally have a 5-minute rule.
I'll have 2 minutes. Less.
If we have not that many people. I really don't care if you go over the 5 minutes. All right, it's you have something to say, please say it, and the board is want to hear. As I said, the applicant's not here. He didn't make his presentation. Just take that into consideration when you make your statement. Mr. Kowalski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alan Pawelski, 68 Noble Street. Maybe the previous speaker would want to sit up there. He seems to know a lot about a lot of things, and we can just ask him questions. But whatever, as the woman said over there, hypothetically, you have a piece of property and you're going to build a massive project on it. I mean, we're not talking about a couple of stores or something like that. I got to say that it's worth more, and to the point where you have to get other bids, or you have to entertain other bids. I think someone would make a higher bid, but not getting ahead of ourselves with this project. But you know, kids entering the school system with how many families are going to move in there. But I'm asking also, you know, has a traffic study been done? I mean, do all those things that come along with it, or you can't answer that tonight?
I can tell you there will be a traffic study done. That has to be part of the process.
Okay.
All the studies have to be done, and have to be shown to the residents. I do
Well,
not have those studies.
You
at this
know,
point.
you talk around the neighborhood, some people don't even know what's going on, and maybe they're supposed to watch the Village Channel or come to these meetings, but I hear some people, a number of people, they're against this, and there's not
Okay.
enough information
That's why
being
we
given
have
at this
hearings, and you're
point.
more than welcome to come to the hearing and voice your opinion and listen to it. That's all we're asking.
Just one more question, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman. I mean, if you're the mayor of this town, wouldn't you
Village.
get a gauge from your residents that are they for or against this,
I have no gauge at this point.
no
I hear
gauge.
pros and cons.
pros and cons? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Someone else? Hey. Hi. Nice to see you.
Same here. Adrian Neufeld, 274 Earl Avenue.
You got to talk a little,
Oh,
bring it closer
sorry.
so they hear you.
Okay. I only found out about this project not from any Lynbrook resident, not from any Lynbrook official, not from any Lynbrook notification in my mailbox. I found out through a businessman in another town.
Okay.
This was back in August, and as I started to talk to my neighbors and other acquaintances, nobody knew about it.
Okay.
Everybody was shocked. And it's only within the last maybe week where we've seen flyers and had more information. But what is the process to notify residents? I'm not in a 200-foot or 200-yard radius of the
Correct.
project, but I'm on Earl Avenue, greatly impacted by this.
Well,
What is the notification
There were
process?
flyers, I've heard flyers stuffed in
But that's
people's
from
mail.
residents, not from,
Mailboxes.
Right.
So what I will propose to do is send out a letter to speak about that flyer, and I'll send it to the whole village, so everyone knows about it. We do follow legal from the clerk. We post it in the newspaper, we post it in the Herald, we post it in Newsday, that we're having this meeting, the hearing about this. Sometimes people don't get it in the paper, but this is the process, this is what legally we're supposed to do, and that's what
in the
we've done.
media, through
In
the
the-
media?
In the newspaper, right? That's what we're legally supposed to do,
Mhm.
and that's what we've done. Lynbrook is a tight village, we all know that, and usually word of mouth travels, and
Right.
we also count on that. But I have no problem sending a letter out and sending it to the whole village.
Great.
And looks like we're moving forward for the 15th to have the hearing. To keep postponing the hearing is very aggravating to the board too, and to the
Right.
residents. We do realize that. This is a project that the village should hear about, and they should have input on it, and that's why we're doing it. We're not trying to hide anything, but we have to follow the legal aspect of it. And council has told me, since the applicant is not here presenting his project, keep the topic light. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
If I can answer a question, I will answer it. I have no secrets, you know that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Good, Billy, Thank you.
My name is Alberto Pastaglione. I live on Devine Street in Lynbrook. We've lived there for many years. I lived there with my wife. We own our house, and I'm very much concerned about this project that they want to do with this apartments that they want to build. I want the committee to give it a lot of thought of what is going to be done. I want to thank the committee and the women and the men of the committee and the mayor for the work that they're doing. I live on Devine Street. Devine Street is a dead-end street that never gets any attention. We haven't had our roads paved or anything done to them in years. If we get a snowstorm, we're snowed in. And if there's an emergency, nobody can get through. That being said, my wife, we go to the senior center on a Wednesday. We have to pay for it, for a cup of coffee and a bagel or a roll. We're nickel and dimed with everything. The pool in Greece Park doesn't run by the city. It's leased out to a private company, and we have to pay to join the pool. Now, I've been injured, and I have problems walking, and my doctor says it's good for me to swim, but I can't afford. How much can I afford? We have to think about our veterans. What do you do for our veterans? Not too much. All right, you run a parade. I can't march in a parade. You have to think about these things and give us a little more respect for what I'm talking about. And again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the work you're doing. Thank you very much to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But I think just to address one thing that was mentioned, the pool is actually run by the village. It's not run by an outside agency or anything like that.
Mr. Levitt.
My name is Harry Levitt, past president of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce, second generation owner of a store right in Lynbrook. We've been there for 72 years. I've personally been involved for 44, and in my 44 years in the business, I've been involved in the Chamber of Commerce and many administrations. I just want to say that I just want everybody to keep an open mind. You know, when you talk about the type of project that is being proposed, I can tell you of the type of people that live there, I'm one of them. I sold my house. All three of my children went to the Lynbrook School District. I'm an empty nester. I didn't want to leave the area. There's only one thing. I'm not ready to put down more roots. I live in the Avalon and Rockville Center. Would I live in a project that's being proposed right here in Lynbrook? Absolutely. And if you come to where I live and see what's there, the community that's there, it's a pet-friendly place. All I want to say is just keep an open mind, listen to what the developer has to say, and it's been a long time since we've had a mayor and a board that have a vision to take the village into the future. But one more thing, when I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce, when we embarked on the Business Improvement District, what is being proposed by this developer is something that the county was telling us and proposing 20 years ago. So it's now first starting to happen, and all I'm asking for the residents of the village is to just sit back and listen first, because I have faith in the mayor and the board that they'll do the right thing for the village, whether it's for the project or not. But at least they're willing to listen. And I think as residents and business owners, we have the opportunity to listen and see what they've got to say before we rush to judgment. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir.
Matthew Becker. How can they be making a proposal if there's been no traffic study done?
Well, the traffic study will be proposed. I'm sure they went through the process of doing, let me ask Mr. Greenfield.
They submitted a traffic study to the Nassau County Planning Commission.
Mr. Greenfield, could you get up, please? Because they're going to have to present that at the hearing.
So it will be presented on the 15th.
Yes.
One of the conditions of approval by Nassau County Planning Commission for this project or any other project is a traffic study. While I recused myself from the deliberations, I can tell you that it was postponed from a month ago meeting to a meeting last week for this commission staff to review the traffic studies. Actually, they had to submit 2 traffic studies. They had to submit a traffic study for the parking garage, which is proposed for the location across from the Feather Factory building, right out here. And then they submitted a second traffic study for where they proposed the building. The staff of the Planning Commission looked it over. Nassau County Traffic Engineering looked it over. I don't, because I recused myself, I don't have any of the details, but I'm sure the mayor and the board will get it from the applicant and can, or the building superintendent can request it from the applicant. There's also a process called the 239F. Nassau County is very tough on ingress and egress on county roads. Both these projects are proposed within a radius of a county road, whether it be Merrick Road, Broadway, and they go through a rigorous process to get approval from Nassau County Traffic Engineering for what's called the 239F. The building department's familiar with that. I'm sure the mayor and board have heard about it in prior. I want you to know, and everyone here to know, that that has been undertaken, is underway, and will be available. If not at the next meeting, maybe before if they request it.
So if I could just ask a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
You said there's been 2 traffic studies submitted to...
Well, 2 separate
Nassau...
locations.
One for the
garage.
One for the location.
Okay, so to the Nassau County Planning Commission.
The commission asked for it on both. There was a concern.
Why doesn't this have to go through the village before it goes to the Planning Commission?
Well, it'll be submitted as part of the application
But
process.
why did they go to the Planning Commission before they went to the village?
Oh, good question. Okay. The process is that the village submitted to the Planning Commission for approval. And the reason is the Nassau County Planning Commission on what's called the zoning calendar, not a subdivision calendar, has to make a determination so you can vote. If the planning, we can make one of 3 decisions, this case or any other case. LD, local determination, 95% of our cases we send back to the local municipalities and said, gentlemen, ladies of the village board, do whatever you want. The second is a denial. If the Planning Commission were to deny it, they would go ahead and you would have to have an absolute majority plus 1. So instead of a 3-2 vote here, it would have to be 4-1. So that's why it's submitted to the Planning Commission first.
So who submitted?
Let me explain the third.
But who submitted what?
The applicant.
Did the village of Lynbrook submit something?
Did you submit anything?
Brian, you got to come down to the mic.
So are you saying that the village of Lynbrook submitted something to the Nassau County Planning Commission?
Again, I recuse myself. I think Brian can answer that. But let me give you the third scenario. The third scenario is LDL, local determination with a letter. It's my understanding you're going to get an LDL, local determination with a letter, which means they're leaving it up to you. You can have a simple majority, and the letter makes certain recommendations. So
my only question is,
Brian,
and I appreciate the information.
I'm happy to educate the process.
I appreciate the information on the procedures. However, it concerns me that something has been submitted to the Nassau County Planning Commission when I was under the impression that things have to go through the village first.
An application came through the building department, a formal petition. As under 239M, it's my obligation to forward it over to the Nassau County Planning Commission.
Okay.
Now, this went in front of the commission on 2 occasions. On the first occasion, the board has the right to request further information. As per Martin Katz, they requested that the applicant submit Anthony Bartone a further study regarding the parking garage, because that would have an impact on the county roads being Broadway, Merrick Road, Peninsula Boulevard. So it was further information that the Planning Commission required as per their going in front of that commission. So what happens is it was a complete application, followed procedure, sent it over to the Nassau County Planning Commission. And as did this board also, if you wanted further information, you would require it, just like they did. And they required further information. And the applicant will present that information in front of this board as part of this public hearing.
So has it been reviewed by the Nassau County Planning Commission?
Yes, it's my understanding it has, but again, when I recuse myself,
But wouldn't the
I
village-
tell them to stop sending me information, I walk out of the room.
But if something pertaining to Lynbrook is going to be reviewed by the Nassau County Planning Commission, wouldn't this board and the residents be
Yes.
notified?
Not the residents. I would ask that the building superintendent contact Mr. Katz at the Planning Commission staff and have forwarded to him the results of their deliberation.
So these
The
meetings...
first meeting,
They've already occurred.
well, the first meeting, when they heard it, they marked the application incomplete. And the purpose of marking it incomplete, it stops the timetable. Because if the Planning Commission doesn't act within 30 days of the application, it's a default approval. And that's the last thing you want. You want a complete, comprehensive. So they marked it incomplete. They went back to the applicant, and they told the applicant they have to submit further information. And then at the last meeting, I wasn't present when they deliberated on the further information. I had to go to another meeting, and I deliberately left and told them to hear that case last when I wasn't there, because I had to recuse myself. So I would ask Brian to call Martin Katz of the staff of the Planning Commission tomorrow and get the results of that deliberations and share with the
Yeah,
mayor
and
and
I'd
the
like the
board.
results, and I'd like
Why
the
wasn't
minutes.
that, why wasn't that sent to us, Brian?
I did forward the resolution up, but it just came like yesterday. So let me just interject one second.
Hold on a second. Could I just interject here? I'm sorry. I really am. Two meetings occurred, well, it sounds like two meetings occurred at the Nassau County Planning Commission with things that pertain to Lynbrook, but this board was not notified of these meetings.
It is the obligation to send it in front of the Planning Commission prior to the public hearing. You need the determination and conditions that the...
Right, that's fine. I get it, that's supposed to go there, but wouldn't, as a deputy mayor trustee of Lynbrook, I would like to know that there are meetings being held at the Nassau County Planning Commission that pertain to the village that I'm responsible for. Why didn't I get noticed that there was something going on at the Nassau County Planning Commission? I should have been notified about that. That's like government 101.
Well, every application that comes before a public hearing, it's a standard procedure to go over to the Nassau County Planning.
That's fine, I'm good with that.
Yeah, okay.
I get that part of it.
So my apologies if I didn't notify you, because that's how
Well,
we
is that
address
your job
every...
whose job is it to notify the board that something's being reviewed by the Nassau County Planning Commission? Whose job is that?
Well, we technically wait for the actual resolution to be...
What has been done in the past, Brian? Did you follow protocol of the past?
Yes, I have. In the past, when an application comes, I would never technically, individually say, I sent this over to the Nassau County Planning Commission.
What did you do with the movie theater?
I
Because actually, I was very involved with the movie theater, trying to get the drop-off area, and that's why I got involved with the commissioner.
Let me try to
Before
answer
that-
the question.
One second. Before that, I was not, they notified us when we had a problem that they weren't putting the drop-off in, but otherwise, they went about their business and did their traffic study, and they never notified us, did they?
No, they did not.
Okay. So is it protocol for them to do that? And then when the applicant comes to finalize the project, that is presented at that time?
Correct.
Okay. So we're not trying to do something not correct?
The process, let me answer, trustee, the deputy mayor.
Okay.
He keeps saying he recuses himself, but then keeps
Okay.
talking. Can I have my 5 minutes and then he can come back?
You got it. You got it. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Matt, I thought you were done.
No, I'm not.
I was-
You keep saying you recuse yourself, and then you keep talking, so you
I was
recuse
just-
yourself
wanna talk
or
about
don't
I know
recuse
Mr. Green-
yourself. Well,
I recused
Take
myself
it
in
easy.
Nassau County.
okay.
All right.
No. Thank you. Okay.
I thought Mr. Greenfield would be helpful for us.
Okay, it's,
Because
yes,
he's,
but
he's going on and on. And I just have a few
Could you
things
pull
I
that
want
mic a little?
I just have a
Pull
few
that mic
things
a
I want to
little closer.
address.
Thank you.
If the traffic study has been done,
Correct.
but it has not been presented to you,
Right.
and has not been presented to us, the first we're going to hear about it or get to see of it will be on the 15th.
Yes.
It's not giving anyone a lot of time to give it a good study because I shop it daily in Lynbrook. I can always find a parking spot, metered or unmetered, but it takes me forever to get down Broadway to Sunrise.
Okay.
If I leave on Forest and make a right-hand turn onto Sunrise, I can forget about making the light at Atlantic till it turns 2 or 3 times. So I would hope that the village, after they get their proposal from the Nassau County Traffic Study, will do their own, because any time between 7:30 and 10:30, or 3:45 and 7 o'clock, any of the main arteries in Lynbrook are already choked. And anyone who shops in Lynbrook on a daily basis like I do knows that's the truth. My last point to you, Mr. Mayor, is that if we have a diamond in the rough, so to speak, piece of real estate in the middle of Lynbrook, in the heart of the village of Lynbrook, a unique village, not like any others, not like Island Park, because I drive up and down the roads of Island Park, I don't see them building anything, okay? I don't. Rockville Center, it's tremendous. It's not Lynbrook. Lynbrook, we're a small, tight-knit community. We have a center of town, and we are looking to put a building in the center of town. So I don't want to hear about Farmingdale, because I don't live in Farmingdale. I don't want to hear about Rockville Center, because I don't live in Rockville Center. If we have a diamond in the rough piece of property, and we only spoke to one person about his vision, that's extremely short-sighted. Thank you for your time.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I can, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to be beating a dead horse here, but if Jeff, if I could just, I'm really confused as to these meetings that occurred at the Nassau County Planning Commission, and would it be possible, because I would like to go and meet with the Nassau County Planning Commission face-to-face with them. I wasn't given that opportunity, and that's very disappointing. I didn't even know about it. This is coming to me as a shock right now that these meetings occurred well in advance of this presentation. I mean, when did, what, do you know what months, do you know what months these
First,
meetings?
let me clarify.
Excuse me for 1 second. What months did these meetings occur at the Nassau County Planning Commission? When did they occur?
I first want to clarify. I recused myself at the Nassau County Planning Commission level because I was going to speak here in Lynbrook as citizen taxpayer in Lynbrook, and I was going to take an active role as vice president of the chamber for the benefit of the community. I respect and understand what the prior speaker said, and I have a suggestion on that. Now, trustee, with respect to your question.
Do you know when these occurred?
Yes.
What months?
It was on the agenda for a September meeting, and then at last week's meeting. There were 2 meetings in September. I have to tell you, in all honesty, village boards, mayors, or trustees never appear before us.
Jeff, this is way too big. This is way too big.
No.
We can't keep going back to this.
Can you let me finish, please?
Yeah, but we can't keep going back to this, well, this is how procedure is, this is how procedure is. This is a big deal here. I would have been really important if the board had been notified.
The process is
Because I have questions for the Nassau, I have specific questions for the Nassau County Planning Commission. How could I be denied that right?
No one would deny you the right. I want to explain to you the
So
process.
I would like to have those meetings. I would like to have those meetings repeated. Is that possible?
Can I explain the process? On the zoning calendar, we don't conduct a public hearing. On the subdivision calendar, what we do is we invite in the applicant to appear at the pre-meeting at the public works session. Now.
So wait a minute. You're telling me at these 2 meetings, the applicant was there, but the village wasn't?
No. I'm telling you that the applicant attorney was at one of the meetings.
So the applicant was represented at the meetings, but the village did not have any representation?
Is my understanding, at the pre-meeting. But it's not a public, the process is not a public hearing.
Can we have a do-over? Because I would like to attend those meetings. I would like to,
Yeah.
I would like to
So-
attend the meetings. I would like to know what was said.
Wait a minute, could you?
I really want to read the
Someone's got,
minutes.
one person's got to talk here.
Okay,
Okay.
first off, I'd like to get a copy of those minutes. I'd like to get a copy of the findings. Secondly, I would like to have a request made by the village here somehow to request from the Nassau County Planning Commission to have these meetings again, because I would like to be present.
Brian, wherever you are, I think you have to communicate to the staff the feelings of the deputy mayor, and also communicate, did you get a copy of the decision yet?
Yeah, I got a resolution, that's what I was gonna reject.
Okay, so I think before you ask for reconsideration, you should review the resolution, and then if you have an issue or dispute with the resolution, I'm sure they'll put it back on the agenda for you before the next meeting.
I would love to agree with you on that, but I have specific questions for them.
Agree, and I want you to be satisfied, read the resolution, ask for the backup documentation, and then if you're still not satisfied, even so I recuse myself, I will join with Brian in asking for you to have a reconsideration.
I mean, it just seems amazing that, you know, we didn't.
This is
we
the
didn't get
process
notified.
that's been going on for years, before I even got there.
Procedurally.
Brian,
I didn't make the
you have
process.
the resolution, Brian?
Yes, we do.
You'll give it to the deputy mayor.
Well,
Do you have a copy
obviously,
of it?
it's been
Not
approved.
with me
The
at this
resolu-
time, because
How does that work? Does the Nassau County Planning Commission approve this?
Did this-
Did they approve it, or what
Okay.
exactly happens?
the resolution was written this way. It was local determination with condition. And the condition was that the traffic study, you know, reviewed by the Department of Public Works, which will be the next stage if this process goes further. Whether, if this process was to get approved by this board, the next stage, the parking garage, would have to go to the Nassau County Department of Public Works, and that is what the Planning Commission was requiring, the traffic study for the parking garage. So it was one of the conditions in the resolution.
Next step, Brian, it went to the Department of Public Works?
No, that won't happen. That's going to the next stage.
Okay.
We first have the public hearing. We send it over to the Nassau County Planning Commission on the 239M. They review the application, and if they have conditions or input, they put it into it. We get that back.
So Brian, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
You mean to tell us that you have a document from the Nassau County Planning Commission that you haven't shared with us yet?
I received it yesterday. Yes, I did.
How could you not, this is something so big as this, how could we not get a copy of that immediately?
Well, because the public
I
hearing.
mean, here I've been, I had no idea that the Nassau County Planning Commission was meeting on this. I have no idea that they've already basically approved this for local determination. I mean, this is really,
Well, in all fairness to Brian, the
I'm not blaming Brian.
meeting was canceled, the hearing was
Yeah,
canceled
because I
for
didn't
today.
think we were addressing this tonight, to be honest.
So you'll
But
have
to
a
this
copy-
As
extent.
soon as that document came in, I mean, first of all, we should have known about this way beforehand, way beforehand. I would have been at that meeting, hands down, no questions about it. And I would like to have that meeting with the Nassau County Planning Commission rescheduled so that I can be present. And whatever they want to do, they can do a do-over. But I would like to be present at that meeting because I'm really, really disappointed that I wasn't given that opportunity. I'm sure my fellow board members would agree with me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak for everybody.
I think I'll wait for the presentation. And then we can, if we have questions, we can review it.
I would like to.
I'm glad I was able
request-
to
I would like to-
educate and enlighten everyone here on the process. And
I
I respect,
I don't need to be.
I
don't need to be
respect
rude.
what
I don't
you-
need to be educated, I don't need to be enlightened. What I need to know is, I would like to go back to the Nassau County Planning Commission and meet with them and find out
So
firsthand.
I was
I want to sit across the table from them.
Trustee Becker, when I leave here tonight, I will send an email to the chairman telling him that it was discussed at tonight's meeting and express your desire and let him be in touch through staff with Brian from this
I
point
mean,
forward.
you could put yourself in my shoes. If something like this occurred in Rockville Center, something this big occurred in Rockville Center, and a major event occurred at some Nassau County, I'm sure you, being the activist that you are, would have been very, very upset that you weren't given an opportunity to be present at said meeting.
I have to tell you in all candor and honesty, a mayor and village board trustees have never come before us at a public work session to discuss an applicant. It is submitted, as Brian mentioned, routinely by the building department. Then if there's any questions, and by the way, I was out of the room for a long period of time. They had a lot of questions with respect to traffic. And that's why I think they deferred to the experts. And that was the LDL, the condition in the letter. They deferred to the experts at Nassau County Traffic Engineering. I agree with what Matt said with respect to traffic on Broadway, especially in the morning. And I think in their deliberations, they recognized that and they wanted further action from. I urge you to read the resolution. It may address some of your concerns.
I will happy to read the resolution.
Brian, send it to him tomorrow morning.
I'm just shocked that I wasn't given an opportunity to attend that meeting. I'm really shocked.
Okay. Well, I will communicate with the chairman your concerns.
So that meeting is
desires.
open to the public, correct?
Yes, it's a public work session. It transpires from 9 to 10 a.m.
Anybody could have gone to that meeting?
Yes.
But they would have to have been notified about it, because how would we
Well,
know?
it's notified no different than you notify. It's on the public website, and it's noticed in a local legal notice, and I think we use Newsday or Long Island Business News. It was duly, correctly noticed meeting.
Is there anyone else who would like to say something?
Pat Vitola, 270 Earl Avenue. I can tell you, you don't need a traffic expert to tell you that there is an enormous amount of traffic between the hours of 3 and 7, and compounded with the valet parking at the movie theater going down the block I pick up my husband nightly, and I have to leave about 20 minutes, which is, I could walk faster to get him at the station. So I can tell you there's a lot of traffic in Lynbrook. When my children went to high school, there was traffic there getting to the high school from our end of town to where the high school is, not very far at all. So I have two questions. First, I want to know when the letters will be mailed out, because I also did not know about this if it wasn't for the flyer that was put in my mailbox. And I feel that the size of this is my concern. I'm not for not building in Lynbrook. However, I think if we build townhouses or smaller units, that might be more feasible than a 6-story with 200 units in it. I think it will compact the school district. I'm a former school teacher. I know when this class size gets larger, the children cannot learn. So there's a lot of issues. So I'd like to know when the letters will be mailed out to notify the rest of the village about this meeting on October 15th. Because not everybody's going to be watching this or reading through the Lynbrook newspaper. And I know the Chamber of Commerce, this is a great thing for you guys because there's 400 more people in the area. However, for us, there's 400 more cars and 400 more people.
200, not 400 apartments.
200 apartments.
Yes.
2 people. You need 2 cars, 400 cars. So I think that's an issue. That's a major issue. As I said, I live on Earl Avenue. The traffic on my block, I cannot tell you, they speed down. Yes. I don't have little children anymore.
One sec, just that you said that. Chief, can we have a car put there tomorrow? I'm serious, because I've been on Earl Avenue.
They
and when
don't
that light
stop at the
turns
double
green,
stop.
they try to
don't.
make Peninsula
Yep.
Boulevard as fast as
Yes.
they possibly can.
Yes,
I've
it
been
is
there.
a problem. And also the stop signs. I can't tell you how many times I beep at people driving through the 4-way stop sign.
You're absolutely
They
right.
don't stop.
Yeah.
So it is a problem. And I think traffic is our major concern.
Okay.
Thank you. 270, just north of Peninsula. Yes.
They try to make they try to make that traffic light when it changes, because it doesn't last too long.
Mayor, be careful about having too much commentary back and forth.
Okay.
Without the applicant.
Okay, yeah, that's sure, sorry. All right. Come on. Let's, the council was I was just reprimanded, not too much back and forth.
Hi, I'm Walt Neufeld. I'm also on Earl Avenue, 274. A question, is there a requirement for an environmental study for a project like this? Because, for example, they will be excavating large amounts from the area. And also in context, not just environmental study of the earth, but also of the pollution, air pollution from additional vehicles and that type of thing.
That I'm not aware of, but I'm sure they do a soil sampling when they, it's one of the issues we're having with another building we're doing. They'll check the soil for contaminants.
So that will be done prior to anything
Yes.
going forward with
Yes.
So, was and I guess Brian or Jeff, I guess Brian, I'm sorry, sir, if I could just ask a question?
Sure.
Because it's just coming to my mind right now. I'm very sorry to interrupt your line of questioning. So this was reviewed by the Nassau County Planning Commission without a traffic study being done?
But they had a traffic study,
So there is a traffic
yes.
study?
And then they wanted additional traffic study.
Does this village have, do we have a copy of the traffic study?
That will be the updated, will be presented to us.
But do
before
you
the
have a
public
copy
hearing.
of the traffic study?
The updated one, I don't have the updated one that they presented.
I mean, we got copies of the old appraisal. I know we're waiting for a new appraisal. Why didn't we get a copy of the traffic study? I would have loved to have read the traffic study.
Well,
Old, new, borrowed, blue, I don't care.
Right, they had an
Whatever we
engineer-
get, this is something that I would be interested in reviewing.
The original paperwork that went out when we set the original public hearing date had a preliminary traffic study that was presented by an engineer based on the transit-oriented development, the TOD. When it went in front of the planning commission, they wanted it more extensive. They produced it to them as part of going in front of that board. They will get it to me. It's still in that process of the public hearing and getting that additional information in front of me. So
And
that
once
will-
that additional, my turn, Brian. Once that additional information comes out, the application and the studies will be put on the website so everyone can get it there. All right, we'll open it up that way, so everyone will be able to get it.
So you're saying,
One second.
Brian, that the original traffic study was sent to us as part of the original?
Yeah, on the original, if you look back at the stuff, there was a study, but it was just based upon basic figures of the transit-oriented development, which went over to the planning commission. They requested further information to make their determination. They submitted that information to the planning commission before they went back in front of the board on September 27th. They have to get me that information over, the public hearing, I will have that before the other public hearing.
I don't recall seeing that preliminary study, but again, it concerns me that we're not talking, I think one of the young ladies mentioned about townhouses, we're talking about a huge property that's going to be developed, and I would be surprised to learn that the Nassau County Planning Commission would utilize a preliminary traffic study to make their determination, to make their approval before they would, without looking at a full traffic study.
When we do actually, Deputy Mayor, when we have the public hearing, it is standardary procedure for the applicant to bring down their recognized professional, a traffic expert, along with his study. That will be part of the exhibit of the public hearing. He will state, based on his credentials, why it works or why it doesn't work.
Right, but
And
he
they
didn't-
submit that.
That gentleman who's going to come here, which is great, on the 15th, we look forward to seeing him. He did not make a presentation to the Nassau County Planning Commission, or he did?
I can't speak for, Jeff, I wasn't at the Nassau County Planning Commission, what they
Neither was Jeff,
requested.
because Jeff was not able to speak.
Again, I think Lynbrook should have been represented at that meeting
So-
by somebody.
So I just wanted to clarify again, process.
All right, that's true. All right, Jeff.
Trustee Beck, I
Jeffrey.
just want to clarify.
Excuse me, Mr. Greenfield, no, that's it, we're done.
Okay.
We're done. Council informed me that it's not the proper time to do this. Without the applicant here,
But
we can get copies of...
We're talking about stuff that has already occurred, not stuff that's
We
about
can
to
get
occur.
copies of the traffic study, we will get them out to the residents, and the application, when the application is prepared for us and presented, we can question the traffic studies, and we do not have to make a
Okay.
determination
That's fine.
at that time. We don't have to make a decision on the actual project.
Mr. Mayor?
We will have, one second, please. We will have time to go over the results of the traffic study and all of the applicants' applications.
So, Tom...
Can I have a motion on that? To agree with that? That that's what we'll do?
What is the
We'll
motion?
review the applicant's traffic study after the presentation. and present it to the public.
May I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Tom, you had just mentioned something about an Article 78. Would you mind just, because I didn't hear it, and maybe the rest of the audience would like to hear it?
The concern is because the applicant is not here, that if the board is unduly influenced prior to the applicant being here, you would have a potential for an Article 78 by the applicant. So that's why you want to limit this discourse, and then when the public
So
hearing
why
is
don't you
here on
explain
the-
that in layman terms to the residents?
Let me finish. When the applicant is here on the 15th, obviously it's going to be a wide open public hearing, and then the board has the discretion to take all the comment they want without the applicant here.
The board and the public.
Correct, of course.
But
Thank you.
I don't think everybody knows what an Article 78 is.
What an Article 78 is a suit brought to, if a village board or a village body makes a determination, it would be a suit brought to invalidate that determination. So that's what you have to be concerned
It's a legal, that would be a legal, what your concern is that the developer would take legal action against the village
theoretically.
because the village had this meeting and was unduly influenced, as in your words.
That the village board would potentially be unduly influenced prior to the public hearing where the applicant was at. That's correct.
Is there anyone else that would have a comment? I'm sorry, you never finished. I'm sorry.
No, I addressed the environmental issue and got some kind of answer on that. But going back to the traffic study, my understanding was that the traffic study is assessing the implications of this new building and these new residents on the Nassau County roads. Is there any study that looks at the implications to the local area per se? Both, because your statement was the implications and how it affects Nassau County roads, you named Peninsula, Merrick, whatever.
I believe the impact is done on the general area where the structure is being applied.
And that's the information that we will be able to see at
Yes.
some point?
Yes.
And will this information be available at the 15th meeting?
Yes, it'll be presented at the 15th meeting.
Okay.
And we also, any information we get, we'll put it on the website so everyone's made aware of what we have.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gene Dupay, 42 Fowler Avenue. I just want a clarification. So the information, the studies will be put on the website so we can look at it, because I'm also concerned, as my fellow residents are, about traffic, especially if you try to get across town on a Friday afternoon. So at that time, we'll be able to ask the board questions on the 15th, as well as the developer?
When we get the
Any
application
questions
and the developer.
on that
yes.
information? Okay.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
How's it going? My name is Mike. I'm up on Burder Street.
Mike, could you pull a little closer? Okay, thank you. I can't really hear you.
You spoke about this developer's character. I'm just curious how many jobs he builds union. He would build union.
Excuse me?
Union work. Union work would really tell a lot about a developer's character. It supports the workers' lives, right? If he's looking to just pay them nothing to come to work, or
I do not know that figure. You can definitely ask the developer when he's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good question to ask. I don't have that answer.
Okay. All right. And I was also just curious if it did come down to it, if the board makes the decision for the town, or if there was like a minimum number of
gotta pull the mic
signatures
closer.
we would have to have in order to express our opinion for, I mean, this is a town made up of working people.
Correct.
So making these meetings with kids and whatever else may be difficult for a lot of people. It also wasn't very advertised. So if we can go door to door, the people that are concerned, and see if other people have the same concerns, how many signatures we would need. If, not right now,
I
but
couldn't
maybe
answer
we
that.
would
I
need
couldn't answer
to
that.
have that baseline.
I'm asking you.
Determined.
Excuse me? Butcher?
We would lose in Article 78
Okay.
if somebody got petitions.
Okay. All I can say, let's have the presentation, and then let's make our decision.
Would it be, what my question really was would it be our decision, or would it be your decision based on what you think is best for the town?
The board makes the determination, if that's the answer you want, yes.
Based on your ideas, or based on the people?
Ideas and feelings of the public, yes.
Of the public?
That's me personally, yes.
Okay. That's all I need. Thank you.
All right, I can't speak for my other board members. Anybody else? Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the bills. I'll ask Trustee Baccio.
Move that the bills listed on the abstract of audited vouchers be paid as soon as they have been duly audited by the majority.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next is good and welfare. Trustee Reardon?
Yes. I'm just going to wait. It's a little noisy.
Okay.
Moving all my notes around. All right, Mayor, thank you so much. As hopefully many of you have been watching, I've been doing a series of Did You Know in Lynbrook, which has been actually a lot of fun. And I'm finding it, learning a lot about the village and the different people that have been in our village, the different celebrities, the, important people and the everyday residents. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to continue with it again, but I flipped my page too quickly because I was reading. All right. Afterlife. Filmed on Atlantic Avenue in Lynbrook, Christina Ricci and Liam Neeson starred in the 2009 film Afterlife, also filmed at the gas station at the corner of Horton Avenue and Merrick Road. I mean, come on, I'm learning more and more that Lynbrook's in a lot of movies, so I think we all have to go out and watch all these movies and see if we can pinpoint where they are. The next one is The Monkees. This popular TV comedy series aired from 1966 to 1969 with actual band members Davy Jones, Mike Nesmith, Mickey
Dolenz.
All right, it's a little bit before my time. Hey! And Peter Tork. I got that? All right. The Davy Jones fan club was based at 35 Wilbur Avenue in Lynbrook. The Lynbrook banner appears hanging on the wall in one episode. That's kind of fun.
35.
Fan club.
Why do I know that number?
35 Wilbur, isn't that right near?
Grace is 55.
Grace is 55. So it was the neighbor to Grice Park. Rudolph Valentino and Fatty Arbuckle, cartoon drawings of these famous silent film stars graced the walls of the basement of a home on Denton Avenue, Lynbrook. The former owners were Jack and Rosine Kaufman. Jack and his three brothers and Rosine were famous vaudeville stars and RCA Victor recording artists. All right, the next one, The Sopranos. We all know everyone has seen many episodes of The Sopranos. The Blue Comet, second to the last season episode of a successful HBO hit series, The Sopranos, airing from 1999 to 2007, was filmed at Trainland on Sunrise in Lynbrook in 2007.
Thank you.
Joe Ganascoli, who played Vito Safior, later appeared at the event at Cross Island on Hempstead Avenue. All right. Darling Lily, a 1970 film starring Rock Hudson, Julie Andrews, and Gloria Paul, playing Crepe Suzette, a character based after the famous dessert invented in Lynbrook at the former Henry's restaurant on Scranton Avenue. And the last one for tonight is American Graffiti. The soundtrack of the 1977 motion picture included works of the 1992 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee songwriter Doc Pomus, Jerome Solon Fetter, who lived in Lynbrook on Surly Commons, and a little thing is actually a former trustee, Maury Foreman, lives in the same house.
He lives in Maury lives in his house? No, he's next door neighbor.
Yeah.
No, actually in his house, huh?
That's what I was advised.
I wonder why that's why Maury's always singing.
He got the bug. Doc wrote numerous 50s classics such as A Teenager in Love, Save the Last Dance for Me, Hush By, and The Magic Moment.
Oh, somebody started to sing that. I heard it. There you go.
Oh, there we go. I think everyone should start to sing. But you know what? Now we can look forward to next meeting. I still have so much more to share, which I think is actually exciting and fun. But now I'm going to move on to some of the events. On September 22nd, we had the privilege of attending Assemblyman Brian Curran's Woman of Distinction, which he's been running for, I think this was the 8th annual one. And he honors women within his assembly district. And Lynbrook is always, showcased with wonderful women. And this year we had Tara Malillo, who has, contributed so much to the sports in Lynbrook, CYO. Actually, I know she runs the CYO volleyball, and her kids are grown adults. She does it because she really does just enjoy.
Actually, she roped her kids in to be.
I know. Actually, my
coaches
daughter
also.
played, and her daughter was one of the coaches. She really has made this a family fair, and she's really invested in, youth sports, and it's a wonderful thing. And also Denise Rogers, who is absolutely a fabulous, wonderful resident who contributes a lot to the village. She's always been a part of the chamber, but also a, major person who's brought back the Lynbrook Kiwanis and, providing again for all of our residents. So it was a wonderful event, and, we want, if you see them on the street, congratulate them, because it is, definitely a nice distinction that the Assemblyman does every year. And then just a few events I'm going to touch on quickly so people can put on their calendar down at Grice. Everything Special Needs Walk is on Sunday, October 21st. They're starting around 7 a.m. in the morning. They start sign up. Everything Special Needs is actually an organization that does play dates and organized play dates for kids with special needs. And they also are a starting point for families for program support and resources. And they've done wonderful things for many kids. And they have the opportunity, they come down to Grice Park. I've actually attended the last few ones, events they have had down there. And it's a wonderful morning, and they have a lot that they contribute to many children throughout the area. And also Trunk or Treat on Saturday, October 27th, from 3 to 5 at the hockey parking lot. The Trunk or Treat is run by the food allergy parents. It is actually a food allergy-free event. It is safe for everyone to attend, and it is actually also a wonderful time. It's great to see what people come up with to decorate their cars. Every year, I feel like people are getting more and more creative. And the last thing I have is free skate, Fridays. Every Friday, from 3:30 to 4:30. Oh, wait, I have two more things. Lynbrook seniors meet every Wednesday from noon to 2:30. I said Wednesdays. Please contact Kathy Ski for information, 516-561-5509. And the Lynbrook Sunshine Club meets every Friday from 12 noon to 2:30. Please contact Kathy Ski also, 516-561-5509. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Reardon.
Oh, you're welcome.
Trustee Hawkhurst.
Couple of quick items. First, we want to welcome 2 new members to our fire department. We have Gerard D'Agostino, who joined in hose company number 1. And we have Gregory Campisi, who joined rescue hook and ladder and bucket company number 1. We wish them all success and safety in their new careers as volunteer firemen. One of the things I wanted to mention was New York State does an assessment of the fiscal stress of all the villages, towns, cities, localities, school districts in all of New York State. You submit your financial information for them, and it's done as part of their office. And they give out a fiscal report card every year of rating every county, village, school district, water companies, everything in this rating system. The rating system goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the worst. Now, top on the list as the worst rated entity is the city of Long Beach. So they got a rating of 80. Island Park and Valley Stream also got poor ratings. Comparatively, Lynbrook's rating was a 3. So, it just really shows how well, the fiscal responsibility of this village, of this board has been. It shows, the lack of fiscal stress that the state thinks that the village is in. And, you can go to the state website. There's a number of characteristics they use. You can see all the different things that they use to do their rating system. It's very interesting. You can get comparisons over years. You can compare different villages, the school districts, water districts, everything on there. It's pretty interesting. But when you look at a city like Long Beach, who was rated with an 80% fiscal stress, comparatively down to the village of Lynbrook that has a 3% rating. So I think that's a nice little show of the work that this board has done with regard to the fiscal sanity of this village. One of the things the library is having on October 13th is the library Great Give Back event, Operation Gratitude. Come down on October 13th, 2018 from 10:15 to 4:45. You can write letters or make cards that are sent to our U.S. soldiers. You can donate care package items such as travel-size toothpaste, travel-size deodorant, playing cards, gum, lip balm, batteries. You can drop off at the library any of these items at the library starting today. But they'll be putting these together on the 13th to send over to our soldiers. Operation Great Give Back event, Operation Gratitude. It's a great event that the library is participating in with other libraries in the area. So please, if you can donate something for our soldiers, drop it off at the library. If you want to come down on that day to write a letter or write a card, come down. You don't have to stay there for a whole day, but they will then package all these items to get over to our soldiers overseas. Speaking of the library, a couple events coming up. They have a holiday for teens in grades 6 to 12. They have a Halloween craft event on October 11th. There is the SAT crash course, college prep course at the library starting Thursday, October 4th. At a cost of $25. Please check the library website to see about registration. If you want to see a movie at the library, we have some great movies coming up. For family-friendly kid movies, we have Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. That's on Saturday, October 20th. It's rated PG. For more adult movies, we have tomorrow the great flick Black Panther. If you haven't seen that, one of the best-rated movies in the past year. It starts tomorrow and doors open at 2:15, but come down to the library. It's free. On October 13th, they're having a Haunted Mansions lecture down at the library, and that's at 2:30. But again, another free event. Come down and learn about all the haunted mansions on Long Island. And for me, Mayor, that's it. Just want to thank everyone for coming down tonight.
Thank you, Trustee Hawkhurst. Deputy Mayor Hill.
Yes, Mayor, just one quick thing. Passing of one of our long-term Lynbrook residents, Lucy Bruno. Just my condolences to the Bruno family, and we're praying for you during this tough time. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Trustee Boccia.
Yeah, just a few different reminders. On Wednesday, October 10th, we have the Party in Pink Zubathon. We also have what we talked about last time was the Love Lynbrook Water Launch, which is Saturday, October 13th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to have lanterns to write messages in, and then you send them out to float in the pool. There'll be food, games, and some music, so it should be pretty fun. We're also going to have Tween Paint Night on Friday, October 19th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and the cost for that is $25. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And one thing that we forgot to do is since the hearing was canceled from tonight, we have to have a vote to reschedule it for October 15th. So I'll need a motion to reschedule the public hearing on the multiple dwelling arts and culture overlay district on Earl Avenue and Forest and St. James for October 15th. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And just one thing I have to give kudos to the assemblyman again. I don't know if I announced it the last time, but outside the movie theater across the street, there's a Citibank, and the assemblyman and I were talking, Assemblyman Kern, and he said, it looks a little shabby over there. I said, yeah, I really don't care for the way it looks. So the assemblyman came up with the idea of redoing that park over in front of Citibank. So the board has agreed that we're going to do that area over, and Legislator Gaylor is getting us a grant. Was it $40,000, John? $40,000 grant to help us do it. And in about 3 months, we should be getting the grant. add a little nice touch to the rest of Five Corners. I mean, it's a nice site with that waterfall, but something across the street, a little park with new shrubbery and benches and brickwork, I think would look very nice there for our middle of our village. So we're always looking to do things here. With that I'll open it up again to the public for public comment. Good and welfare. If there's no other comments, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.